can't stay in. What? Yo,
When you think of a city plagued by crime, Boston, Massachusetts isn't the first that comes to mind.
My killer can't be spread like the plague. Bury your money from the feds, hollows in the head. On sight considered dead.
Anybody smoking weed? That's my little weed.
Shattered your head, laying back, sipping Henny, reminiscing your death.
Any ID?
Can't officially enterprise. I see you play your but I also see the fear in your eyes.
How many people have been murdered in the store that own the store? How many people have been shot? You ain't crying about it? Well, I've worked here since then, and I'm crying about it because you should have got murdered.
You was getting 92, ratted on your crew, got bagged with a trade dues, and a high-speed pursuit.
In the late 1980s, a flood of guns and drugs led to a sharp rise in youth killings in one of the city's poorest districts.
Crack was probably the catalyst for the explosion of violence in the city of Boston. Crack and the profits that people derive from it. With its profits, you got to have guns to protect your profits. Crack almost brought this city to its knees. We were dying around here because of it.
The city's response to the murders has been hailed in America as a national model. This is the story of how Boston tried to stop the killing. It has important lessons for Britain.
I think the homicide rate in 1990 was the catalyst for acknowledgement on all sides. Let's see what we can do to stop the homicides, to stop the violence. Let's present a united front to the kid. If the kids are out in the street 20 deep, well, let's go out 30 deep and just say stop.
Most shootings happened in 3 neighborhoods where local gangs overlapped. Driven by fear, anger, or bravado, youths shot each other in the heat of the moment. Local police couldn't stop them, so federal, state, and city justice agencies that were once rivals decided to join forces. The new coalition gave these impulsive youths with lethal weapons a stark choice: stop the violence or go to prison.
What are we here to talk about? We're here to talk about these. We're here to talk about these. All right, 747 and the Rambo Special. Okay? We're also here to talk about this. This is a .38 hollow tip, okay? As you can see, this does not have eyes. This doesn't know where it's going, it just goes where it's aimed. And if you happen to be in the way, it's gonna hit you.
Now justice officials present an aggressive front to a wider range of youth. Some have been suspended or expelled for carrying weapons. Others have simply been disruptive. They don't always appreciate being threatened.
We want to tell you what's going on now, because the rules to the game have changed. Now, the first people we're going to introduce you to, a couple of street workers, Jed and Hewitt.
Any of y'all know what the street worker program does? No? All right. What they do is they use us as a sounding board. They say to me, Huey, they say, Jed and the rest of the street workers, we getting ready to hit a certain neighborhood. Our job is to go out there and tell the boys or the girls on the block, this is getting ready to happen to you. If you don't pay attention and stop the shooting, the stabbings, the beatdowns, then the feds are gonna come get you. And this is no joke, man. When the feds come out, there's nothing we can do. So they're trying to give us a chance to work with you before you end up in federal prison. And when they hit your block, they can get you for something real silly, like a bullet.
How many years do they give you for one bullet?
19 years, 7 months for one bullet, no gun, just a bullet.
You saw that record that he pulled out. If you're involved in guns and drugs, when you come to me, my job is to come after you. Do I want to do that? Do I gain anything out of that? No. Don't me, because I'll you someday.
In other words, you're a snitch. You're like, oh, Your Honor, look at what she did. Oh, yeah, look at this. You know what I'm saying? Bringing up all this other stuff. In other words, you a snitch, yo.
No, you know what it is? It's what you did. When you come to court, I didn't arrest you. I didn't bring you to court. So, okay, blame me, and that's fine.
Look who's running all the system. Look who's running the system. This is all about this. Come on, man. There's nothing we could do. We lost the war already. You know what I'm saying? We lost the war, man. They took us. They got us. They got us. You know what I'm saying? They got us. It's all the color. They got us. Come on.
It's easy to say no. It's easy to say it's impossible. It's easy to say you can't do it. But you know, that's the chicken shit way out to say that without trying. And there are a lot of people today who are alive because you're wrong. There's a new sheriff in town. Let me tell you who the sheriff is. The sheriff is Mr. Coffey. The sheriff is Mr. Whittington from the gang unit. The sheriff are ATF agents, FBI agents, DEA agents, drug control units for the Boston Police Department, street detectives, street patrol officers. All those people, the people from probation and parole, Billy Stewart, we're all working together, and together, we're the sheriff.
Boston criminologists think that such warnings help to stop the killings, but homicides fell in other American cities as well. The importance for Britain of the Boston experiment is the way justice agencies stopped fighting each other and pooled their information and resources. But it also shows the limits of justice, that you can't deliver long-term public safety just by locking people up. The toughest kids are behind bars, but the ones left behind are still scared. And in a city with a history of tough policing against blacks, this approach actually feeds their fear.
They see something they've never seen before. It's basically a collaboration of all the police forces together. A lot of them feel it's unfair that they're being targeted. As a young black man, you have to worry about the police, you have to worry about each other, because we're the #1 killers of each other. I mean, you know, a lot of them say, you know, the man. The man doesn't really come out here and shoot these kids. It's them shooting each other.
It isn't that we've stopped having shootings, but the rate of shootings that we have decreased. Our homicides have decreased. We haven't lost a juvenile in this city through a homicide by a gun in 2 years.
Yeah, the homicide rate may have dropped, but there's still shootings going on. The kids are just shooting each other in the butt and the legs. They don't want to get the attempted murder charge. They're really not trying to kill. They're more trying to, you know, prove a point, and they call it represent. They're going to represent their community because they have nothing else to represent.
Corey Sinclair was a child of this violent culture. A few years ago, he was in prison for armed robbery and selling guns. Now he's paid by the mayor of Boston to keep young people from getting into the kind of trouble that landed him behind bars. So Corey's office is out on the street, Intervale Street in Dorchester.
When I get up to go to work is almost back to, you know, where I used to be. Like, I'm waking up to, you know, to go back, to hang back out on the block. If you're hungry, you're gonna find a way to eat. You know, they're gonna make your money the best way they can. If you grow up in a neighborhood where everybody's drug dealing, it's just a common way of life, you're gonna end up being a drug dealer. You know, if you grew up in a neighborhood where everybody's a doctor or a lawyer, you're gonna be a doctor or a lawyer.
You know, most of the things is, I try to tell the kids, the cops probably won't even bother you if you're just out here selling drugs, but once they hear about the gunshots and the shootings going on, violence takes precedence over everything, and they're gonna come.
In August 1996, they did come to Intervale Street, where many young men had ignored the warnings that had muted other Boston gangs. City, state, and federal agents arrested 23 members of the group known as the Intervale Posse.
One of the things we wanted to do was to send a message out to, you know, all these other gangs that we have the resources here in the city of Boston, coupled with the federal and state resources, to take any gang down.
The crackdown took youth off the street, but also showed the limits of such heavy intervention. With older gang members in prison, their friends and younger brothers feel vulnerable.
You sweep a neighborhood and you take away some of the older kids, it's all about protection. It's all about them self-preservation. And, you know, to come to them and tell them to put down all their firearms or give them all to me and let me go turn them into the police is crazy. Because now I'm taking guns away from them when all the other kids are, you know, around there got guns.
Yeah. That's the way it is, like we're being sheltered, camped, sheltered, where there's no recreation for none of us around here.
The closest community center is in enemy territory, all the way over there by Family Food Land, the Boys and Girls Club.
Or the Harlan, or the Marshall, which is still a great distance.
It's like this, I'm from Intervale. Like last summer, you know, we was walking to the clinic, you know what I'm saying? Enemy seen me, tried to hit me with a car. That's how it is.
Fear leads many youth to arm themselves in self-defense, thus increasing the risk of violence. Every day, the school police seize a variety of guns and knives. They're banned in school, but most are legal on the street.
These are the most common. We call these 007s. We get these a lot, and the kids buy them at the corner store. The market shouldn't be allowed to sell them to the kids. We used to go down to the market and buy baseball cards and candy. They can buy those, but they can also buy these. They cost anywhere from $4 to $7. This is a Edwards scissor hand type of a weapon, you know. Get this off a kid and do a lot of damage. you know? That's a tough one. It's all kinds of stuff, you know, this one here, metallic knuckles and the blade, okay? So you can stab out and you can punch out. So this one is arrestable because it's metallic knuckles, you know.
But all the rest are legal?
For the most part, yeah. A lot of the kids who carry these are good kids, and they're feeding into the hype. And the hype is that they need something to protect themselves.
Anywhere that we go is enemy land. Ask how many guys here can go to the movies without having any problems.
Anybody could shoot you the wrong look, you could get shot.
You can bump.
You could get shot for wearing Nike. You could get shot for anything.
Even if you look at them for a minute, then turn back, they can shoot you. They might want to shoot you just because you're wearing the same thing as them. It's hectic out here, man.
Yeah, it's war. There's some kids who are so scared to even try to survive on the street. They'll rather just stay in the hallway all day until their mother come home and say, I went to school, I went there, and their mother will never know until they see the report card and seeing like, oh, shit, I sent you to school, you've been missing 23 days, but Ma, it's hard out there, I'm scared, I can't go to school, you can't protect me, you can't do this for me. So then what you doing? You must be selling drugs, you must be doing that. No, I'm not, I'm just scared.
In fact, only a small number of youths get involved in violence, which mostly occurs not at night, but in the late afternoon. So one of the best ways to reduce violence is to keep kids busy after school. Most head teachers keep quiet about their problem kids for fear of losing good pupils. But now some Boston schools take the unusual step of working with the justice system.
Because of the anxiety that our kids are feeling, they're beginning, even good kids are bringing more weapons to school. So we've been confiscating on the average 2-3 knives a day, and kids just feeling the need that I'm safe in school. They're not saying they're not safe in school, it's just that you can't protect me when I'm outside.
This meeting is a radically new approach to youth violence based around local schools. Every other week, a few Boston head teachers exchange information with prosecutors, juvenile probation officers, police, and social workers. In the past, these agencies would never have dreamed of doing this. Now they pool information to spot youngsters at serious risk.
Captain Dunford, do you want to hit the high spots at C11?
John's group grabbed a guy named, grabbed one of the doing big time business. They watched him and watched him do his, my drug unit watched him do his business, and they grabbed him. He gave up his stash in the house.
Have you or your station saturated or gone to kids' homes that may have been discussed here? Because I had a student come up to me today and say that his mother told him that the Boston police came to his house and questioned him and, questioned her and him about whether he was involved in drug activity because he had been suspected of it in school.
We do that with certain kids we're targeting.
He wanted an answer like, is this happening? And I said, well, if they came to your house, then it is, but I don't know where it's originating.
Any kid who gets involved in an incident at the Cleveland school, within 48 hours, will be paying a home visit.
Police not only visit troublesome youth at home, they also look for them on the streets to ensure they go to school. It's a measure of how far police in Dorchester have changed their approach. Though truancy isn't illegal, they now see these patrols as a way to prevent crime.
There's a few right here. Where are you going to school? You go to the same school that he goes to? So every day you just go out and hang out?
Nah, because we're trying to get into the school Echo.
You trying to get into a school called Echo?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
How long have you lived? 6 months.
And you haven't enrolled in school at all in 6 months? No, we'll just inform the truancy, and we can follow up on it. He's up here for 6 months. He's not going to school. What is he doing? What is he doing all day? This is how the crime escalates. When you get kids like this, they're not going to school. They're just walking around looking for trouble.
Stopping kids before they end up in prison has been a long-term goal of the state of Massachusetts. But in order to control them in the community, curfews and probation orders have to work. The problem is that when the police stop someone, they don't know if this is a convicted young offender in breach of a curfew or another court order, or indeed if the person has just got out of prison, unless they choose to tell the truth.
Any ID? No. What's wrong?
And this approach, of course, makes a mockery of the idea of a criminal justice system. It's really much more of a lottery, who they catch and who they prosecute. To improve their effectiveness, probation officer Billy Stewart took the unusual step of going on night patrols with the police. Stewart believed that their combined knowledge and legal powers stood a better chance of reaching the youth in danger.
These kids have been a real pain in the butt. We know that they know we're out in the street. We tell them, we're going to be out checking on you. We're going to come in, there'll be 2 police officers, a probation officer. We're going to check your curfew. You're bound by terms of probation and be in the house. And for the most part, initially when we started the program, we had maybe a 30 to 40% compliance rate. Now it's up to 75 to 80%. You know, a lot of these kids, they needed a stone wall to run into to stop them. And I think this program has been a stone wall. How are you? What are you doing?
It has a bars cutter.
You came just to walk your girlfriend home?
No, that's not what Judge Kantovich said. He said, no, stay away from this area. Isn't that what he told you in court? Absolutely.
Right now, do you understand I have the power to arrest you?
Yes.
I can feel your heart beating. I know you know that I mean what I say. Do you want to go to jail?
No.
Okay, where would you prefer to be right now?
My house.
Where is your house? Where is that?
Right next.
It is, exactly. And you are right now about a mile away from there, aren't you?
Yes.
How long do you think it's going to take you to get home?
10 minutes.
Oh, I think less, where your heart's beating right
Yeah.
now, right? Okay, so why don't you start home? It's impossible to sell kids truth, justice, and the American way and have them buy it from sitting behind your desk because you're not real to them. You're just an authority figure in a shirt and tie. But if you're in their bedroom, if you're under a street light, if you're getting out of a police car and telling them you can't do what you're doing, or you're going to suffer the consequence of what you're doing, you're going to have your probation revoked, you're going to go to jail, you're a little bit more real to them. The police are our security. They're there to ensure our safety. We couldn't do this without them. You know, these officers that we work with, they're great, tremendous. You know, 6 years ago it was I have my problem, you have your problem, we'll solve ours, you solve yours, and we'll never talk. Well, this program has blurred the lines of responsibility now.
Police can't search houses without a warrant, but probation officers can. Some critics claim these searches violate civil rights.
By virtue of the fact that an individual is on probation, they've sacrificed a certain amount of their Fourth Amendment rights.
Is Antoine home?
Therefore, as a probation officer, if I have reason to believe that somebody's in violation of their terms, I can do a search. Do you have anything I don't want to find? Do you have a stash in here or anything? No, sir. Will you just get one joint? Okay.
Which one?
Some bags over here, sir. What?
That's to put the herb in?
Bagging it or what? That's what
Bag it up?
man.
You put your herb in there?
That I'll be saving sometimes.
Billy?
Yeah. Oh, no.
A bag of drugs, right?
It's old, man.
This really isn't good. It's not a good sign. And the place was just heavy marijuana smoke. I had enough reason to believe right there that he was in violation of his terms. On the other hand, realizing that he was in the bad position that he was in, it was really an opportunity for him to come into court the next day on his own. Is your mom here?
Yes, Mom.
Mom?
She had to go pick up his grandfather.
Oh, did she?
My grandmother.
Sorry.
You know, that's one of the things that always bothered me. The kids that come in for arraignment get held on bail, come back for trial, get found guilty, get shipped to jail for a couple of years, and no parent. Never see a parent. We just got a car in front of us here that blew a red light. So.
Hey, how are you? You missed that red light back there. You missed that red light back there, sir. ¿Comprende inglés?
A little, sir.
A little.
Un poquito?
Yeah.
The red light?
The light.
Yeah, you didn't stop.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
You gonna stop the next time?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow you will.
You're gonna.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hasta luego, Winnebago.
Stop them up.
Unbelievable. Ladies, good morning. Tina, how are you?
The next morning, Antoine didn't show up to meet his probation officer, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. Billy Stewart was not surprised. Every morning at Dorchester Court, he sees the same faces time and again because a badly overloaded justice system fails to stop his clients from offending. Judges are so busy processing their cases, they have little time to influence each young person who appears in their court.
I do.
I'm gonna sit down and just so I've got you on the tape. Why don't you tell me your memory of what happened, officer, please?
Okay, we was driving down Washington Street going towards Rosedale. We saw like 4 or 5 gentlemen in front of Paul's. 10 more kids come out the top. And they was arguing. So I heard the victim say, I'm not gonna fight you. I don't wanna fight you. I don't wanna fight in front of 5-0. He turned around, looked at both the cars, and he said, fuck the police, and he punched him.
Judges all like to set terms of probation. They like to say, young man, I want you to go finish high school, or I want you to get a college degree, or I want you to get a job, I want you to support your children, I want you to stay away from the corner of walk and don't walk because you get in trouble there. So unless you have a probation department that's willing to enforce that, it does more harm than good because the defendants get the sense that it doesn't mean anything, and they think they've put one more over on the system.
It's obvious that he has disregard for the law and he has no regard to the probation. I didn't even know that he had a curfew, but he already broke the curfew 2 times and has already been arrested. So as far as I'm concerned, he has no regards to the seriousness of the charges.
Your Honor, he's done time. He's already done time. Does he have an alcohol drug problem? Yeah, he probably has a minor problem. Does he have an attitude problem? Yeah. Yes, he was rearrested. Yeah, he is in a bar at night. Yes, he did disrespect the police department. Yes, I agree with the officer. I don't think he's got a lot of respect for anything.
Dorchester is a village, and everybody looked at the numbers of our young people that we were losing. It's devastating to look at someone in the courtroom and then know a matter of weeks or months later, you read in the paper that he's dead, or had him back in front of me and arraigned him for a murder when I saw him for a drug case. You're not walking out of this courtroom. You can't be on probation, behave the way he did with the police officer, be drinking in a bar after hours, punching somebody in front of the police officer, and then, not the least bit intimidated, come back and have another curfew violation at 2 o'clock 5 days ago. If he wants to take 60 days on the plea, I'll stay the execution on probation. Yeah, but he stays in the courtroom.
I understand.
Well, in the long run, we're going to have to find productive employment for them. They're going to have to get an education. I think we need to work at the schools. We need to be not putting people in literacy programs when they're 15, 16, but trying to make sure they read by the time they're 8 and 9 years old, so that this real danger period when they hit 12 and they hit middle school, and all of a sudden they can't pick it up by rote or hanging around and they're not getting that level of attention, we don't lose them then, because that's when I start to see them in the court.
Finishing school and getting a job are the best ways to avoid crime. Boston's Community Academy is an alternative school that offers a fresh start for up to 140 youngsters. Some are sent by the court, others expelled from school. The academy tries to instill the discipline and skills they need to succeed in mainstream schools.
The big thing a lot of times, just seeing the substance abuse, how that affects your ability to remember. So a lot of things they struggle with, say, well, I used to know, I was good at my times table. I say, yeah, but you're smoking too much weed, and that's what's slowing you down. And they begin to see that. They say, wow, yeah, it does make a difference. Sometimes it takes a little while for them to say, okay, well, let me begin to actually stop smoking as much. And we've seen that happen. Others, it takes a little bit longer for them to actually realize that they need to change. Some of them won't. At least they were exposed to something in a positive environment where they weren't a behavioral problem and they weren't a discipline problem. And coming from the environments and the backgrounds that they're coming from, that's an everyday thing of expecting to be kicked out, expecting to create a problem, and that's not happening here. So, and sometimes I think that's the first line of attack.
Well, you get more opportunities. Yeah, they hook you up with jobs, and my old school just wasn't kicking it. You know, I just didn't like that school, but here at Community Academy, I get my work done, go get a job, after school stuff and all that.
So what do you want to do now?
Going about my career, go to college after I graduate from high school, be an X-ray technician, whatever.
Did you have those ideas before?
Nah, not till I came here.
Brenda Love is the academy's director. She lets each student know she cares how they're doing.
These students range from students who have thrown chairs to carried weapons to held drugs to done stabbings to attempted murder charges, and the buzzword is disruptive. And I don't think that it's so much disruptive as if they are crying out for someone to listen to them. A lot of these kids, if you don't listen to them, then they act out. How's your first day?
All right.
Yeah? You gonna handle this?
Mm-hmm.
You sure? Okay, I'm glad to have you here. I see you tomorrow?
Yeah.
What time?
I don't know what time y'all start.
What time are you supposed to be here?
8 o'clock.
No.
Bye at 7:30.
Yeah, there you go. Now, which page is yours?
This one.
Okay, hold on. I'll give you the first 3 numbers. You give me the last 3. 445.
I don't know what time y'all.
265. Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's my lawyer.
Okay. Bottom line is that these are kids. They need some attention. They need to know how to work together. They need to know how to learn. If we don't listen to them, they're going to come knocking at your door. Matter of fact, they're not going to come knocking at your door. They're going to come kicking your door in.
The problem is that they are used to that day-to-day survival mentality, and they see it in their families, they see it in the neighborhoods. I mean, we had a rash of murders here. I'm talking about bam, boom, bam. Right here, that kid got blown away right on sitting on the front porch. This cleaner's right there. This cleaner's, a kid got blown through the window there. This corner store here, the person just went in there and robbed and killed the person working behind for a bag of pennies. We needed to do something.
At the log school, Joe Carpenito has been doing something to help families survive in Dorchester for 20 years. The log school has now joined other community groups in a coalition to reduce violence. In the course of every Friday, hundreds of people get food for their families. Joe sees this as a form of crime prevention. Most of the juvenile killings took place in just this and 2 other areas of poor housing and low income.
I mean, if you're hungry, you get a loaf of bread no matter what. There are people who commit crime mainly because some people want to feed themselves. The more the basic needs are being met, educational needs are being met, housing needs are being met, you develop neighborhood economies, the crime rates automatically goes down. Bye, Joe. Goodbye.
Local economies need skilled workers, so the log school provides special classes for young people to catch up and pass their GED, the equivalent of a high school diploma.
Tell the man what this is.
It's my GED scores.
Her scores. Look at those scores. It's a woman who left school. Why did you leave school?
Because I had a baby.
Had a baby.
While their children are cared for, young single mothers get help with reading, writing, and arithmetic.
I have half a pizza, and you have to split it between yourself and one other person.
Okay. Am I splitting the half of the whole pizza?
You only have half to begin.
Okay.
What is this? Do this.
Multiply the. Okay, 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, 1 4.
Without such efforts, life on the street is ruled by guns and knives and a ready willingness to use them. Across America, homicide remains the leading cause of death among black men under 25. Reverend Eugene Rivers moved his ministry to Dorchester in the mid-80s. He thought black leaders concerned with civil rights caused them to neglect youth closer to home. So Rivers set out to stop violence in his neighborhood and to change the way police treated black youths.
My relationship with the police department was not always great. I witnessed and knew of excessive force being deployed against young black men. Now, part of that was a result of the lack of appropriate black political leadership to check effectively the excessive force in a largely white police department, number one. And number two, to own the fact that there was a problem in the black community which was unique to the black community.
At the funeral of 20-year-old Robert Odom, who died in a drive-by shooting in 1992, that problem suddenly became impossible to ignore. 12 rival gang members dressed in black hoods entered Morning Star Baptist Church during Odom's wake. A fight broke out, shots were fired, and one youth was stabbed 9 times.
The Morning Star incident of the spring of 1992 was the pivotal event that shook the city and the black churches to their foundations. When those young hoodlums went into that church and turned that church out, stabbed that boy and shot up the church, the black church got the point. They got the point that they had failed to take their message to the street, and as a consequence, the street had brought their message into the church. What I want to talk about briefly is learning the game. How many people here think they players? How many of y'all think y'all players? If you watch BET, in Rap City, there is an image of what a player is. He's a Snoop Doggy Dogg, Tupac, Biggie Small, Puffy Combs looking individual.
Black churches have launched a national campaign to rescue youth from the street, but they also back tough actions against those who won't stop the violence.
We created the political context for aggressive police intervention. Without the role of the black church, we would have had a political race war in Boston. We pray, God, that you would speak to us tonight.
Rivers reached out to the young men whose drugs and guns were terrifying the neighborhood. He showed them another way to be a man, and Corey Sinclair took it.
Directed by you.
I find myself at this point in time in my life at a stage where I don't really fit in. I'm not totally out there in the street anymore. I'm trying to turn my life around. I'm trying to do positive things.
The street workers, they have the most difficult job because they're out in the neighborhoods every day. They deal with some of the worst kids they have, or they deal with some kids who just might have fallen by the wayside because of neglect at home or being misguided. And I'll tell you that I've put more on the streets than ever before because they're the contact with those kids. The street worker gets confidence of those kids, and they tell what's going on, where the drugs are being sold, who the bad guys are. There are eyes and ears, and that's important.
The system actually pays you. I get paid from the city. So, it's hard to work with the police because sometimes they try to ask you questions that might incriminate the kids. And then you really got to ask yourself, who are you here for?
Today, Corey's trying to get 16-year-old Jamil from the Intervale out of prison. Jamil's been locked up for a month awaiting trial for armed robbery. His defense lawyer expects Corey to help clear him.
Jamil's like real mad because it's like, he didn't do this. His mother's upset and she's like, they already got 2 of my boys in custody and this will be a 3rd one, so she wanted to get him out. She figures he's the one that she can save. You took away the other 2 that people want to say are negative. Just let her get a chance with Jamil, and try to save some of these kids. You just can't throw them all to the wolves. Because there'll be another kid to replace Jamil, just like, they figured Jamil's going to replace his brother. There'll be another Jamil out there. They can't just keep locking them up. There's not enough space in the jails.
No, especially if you didn't do it, it sends the wrong message to the community.
Definitely. I'm a street worker for the city of Boston. My job is to meet the youth out in the street and try to counsel them and try to change their life in some, positive manner. Working with Jamil, helping Jamil get into school, get his life together, helping him with any type of problems he's having with any other local kids. And, just being there for him.
Is it commonplace for you to talk to people in the community?
Yes, the kids are aware that I'm not calling to snitch on them or rat on them, so I get some information that, that's normally kept amongst themselves.
Now, did you obtain any information about the person who was robbed allegedly in this?
He sells drugs in the neighborhood and he's not supposed to. And the kids made sure that he wouldn't sell drugs there no more. So I guess that's why, from what I'm hearing, that's why the actions took place.
Could you give His Honor an example of what you're doing now with Jamil?
Everybody's aware of what's going on on Interville Street, and he does not want to get caught up, and he does not want to go to jail. Jamil's one of the smarter kids, and if anybody can make it up out of the situation he's placed in, it would be Jamil. Because he has the brains for it, his academics, once he's put in place in an environment he can do his schoolwork, he can feel safe, I think he'll shine.
No further questions.
Mr. Sinkler, do you know why Jamil's on probation in Dorchester currently?
I spoke with his probation officer. We really didn't get the great details on it.
Are you aware he's under continued out of finding for distribution of cocaine and conspiracy?
Yes, I
am. So the individuals that you saw him with around 5 o'clock, do you know their names?
I try to keep myself from knowing, most of the names, the last names, because I'm supposed to work with the kids and work with the courts and work with the police, and I lose all my credibility with the kids. So I keep the first name basis and nicknames.
Talk to the police about Jamil Coleman?
No, I haven't had an opportunity. They haven't come to me about Jamil at all.
Have you gone to them?
I went to the arraignment, and that's about as far as it went.
So even though you think that Jamil's not involved, you haven't contacted the police on his behalf?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Based on the information you've given me and the Commonwealth has given me, I'm going to release him on his personal recognizance to his mother. Mr. Sinkler, are you going to be his
I'll be his shadow, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, if he doesn't cooperate with you, I want you to come right back into court, okay? Now, listen, what's your curfew? Is there going to be any problem there? Yeah. What do you want? 7. Curfew. You understand that? You have to be at home at 7, and they'll check up on you. You understand that? And if you're not, it's a violation, and you're going to be right back before me, okay? Violate any of the terms of your recognizance, or if you're rearrested, okay, you're subject to be brought back into court and held without bail on this case as well as the other case. Do you understand that? So, a word to the wise. You're to be a law-abiding citizen 100% of the time. And if you're not, I promise you, you're going to be right back at DYS. I guarantee it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care, Mr. Yeah. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going home.
Okay, well, people think it's just as simple as one choice, that I'm not going to do crime no more, I'm not going to carry a gun no more, I'm going to stop selling drugs, when all the pressure is based on being bad. If it's negative, it's positive in the black community. It's like the badder you are, the more status you have. If you're out here selling drugs, the kids see it, and they see the fancy cars. They see, that you're out there every day, don't have to work real hard, you got all the gold, the leather coats, your life looks great.
Let's go. Come on.
Like Corey, street worker Chops Porter has personal experience of how hard it is to keep local youth from crime. His own son just finished a 5-year prison term for drug dealing.
My son, it was a drug thing. He saw other people with the money, with the gold, with the cars, with the flashy clothes. And he got caught up in that. You know, and it was funny because my son, he was the type of guy that, even though he was making the money and things of that nature, he gave more than he consumed for himself. Whenever he made $1, he was giving 75 cents away, either to family or to friends, you know, and he was like Robin Hood in the neighborhood. He saw me always working with kids. Matter of fact, he was a youth worker there for a while. And I think what happened was he got laid off, lost his job, and that's when he took the easy route to selling the drugs to try to take care of his family. That was his reason. He told me, you know, he had to take care of his son and daughter and his wife. So he resorted to selling drugs.
The crucial part about the argument about guns and crime and drugs is that saying no is not enough. They need something to say yes to. They need to have a sense of a future that is beyond the weekend. They need to see that they will get the kind of rewards financially, emotionally, and professionally that hard work really delivers. Now, in the late 20th century, that's very hard to promise, especially if they come from very poor neighborhoods where no one in their family may have been employed, where they've got no experience of seeing anyone get up and go to work. That's where mentors come in. But they need to set limits. They need to have consequences if the child transgresses those limits. And that's hard for mentors who really have a kind of general sympathy for the kids, which is important, an important part of their work. And if we were all willing to involve ourselves in the lives of one of these kids to teach them that there's something better out there than crime, it will stop.
Now let him do it. He needs some independence. There you go. Work it, man. You got that. Work that. You tiny little. Not, yeah, he's left-handed. He's left-handed. Now look. Look at this. Boom. The hole's right there. Untie it. Give me one tie before you go. We about to go get some chips or something? We gonna get some soda with this? With the $2?
Street workers use their long-standing relationships to reduce violence. They go into volatile situations where traditional law enforcement would only make things worse. Tonight, Chops, along with his colleagues Ernest and Jed, are trying to settle a dispute among youths who are upset over the death of one of their comrades, Rico. He was shot in retaliation for a fistfight with a rival group.
Damn, pretty boy.
What's up, son?
What's
Can I smack you now or smack you later? Huh?
Never.
Huh? What's up, Jay?
Chillin', man.
I got a picture of you. I meant to tell y'all. I got some pictures of y'all, right? You remember when we was at Northeastern? I got those pictures, man. That was like 3 years ago.
Come on, man.
You were about 50 pounds lighter and 3 inches shorter.
Too, man.
You hear me, Jay?
I hear you.
What happened? They're just talking
Over
trash?
a football game, man.
Yeah.
Starting trouble, man. Getting sick of them niggas starting trouble, man, like we some little kids or something, man.
They was gonna try to hurt you?
Yeah, man. They'll chase me with a brick and a shank. They'll chase me with a brick and a shank.
We out here now to try to squash this, man.
We all crew and shit, you know what I'm saying?
I know, y'all boys,
we all
man.
down with each other, you know what I'm saying?
You ain't
But
supposed to be beefing with each other.
They trying to make it into some war. That side against this side, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to hear that, man. You know?
We can't keep hurting each other like this. Doesn't make any damn sense, man. You know? Pretty soon y'all gonna be running out here trying to make some babies and things.
Yeah, everything gonna be cool, you know what I'm saying?
We're gonna try to mediate it, man.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
All right, let me say this too. What I'm surprised at. I'm surprised at hearing my son got a strap.
Be on the safe side, I had it there, you know what I'm saying? For my safety and for their safety.
What would happen if all these police that I'm hearing out here doing their job had caught you with the piece?
And that was just the chance I took, you know what I'm saying?
Well, let's not try to put ourselves in situations where we have to think like that.
Yeah, no.
Seriously, man.
I be chilling, man. Chops, no strength. I be chilling.
All right.
Okay, can I just say this? RICO has a lot to do with what this problem is all about. What we need to do is go back to RICO's grave as a group and talk this over, and we need to do that soon, because that's what it's really all about.
Most of the kids I try to work with normally would carry a firearm. But when I'm trying to work with them, I'm trying to teach them not to. But most of the kids would rather take the mandatory year from the police than to get shot or killed. You know, it's just like a vicious cycle that just keeps going on and on and on. And I try to come out here and I try to show them their choices, decisions that they have to make so they can break that cycle. I can get him right here to say, okay, fine, you know, I'm not gonna fight no more with dude, I'm gonna leave him alone. But in his mind, he knows, okay, I'm gonna leave him alone, but is he gonna leave me alone? You know, you don't know if that's gonna happen. Now, just because he won't bring a gun to the fight, you know, don't mean the next person won't. So it's, you know, you come back to the old Boy Scout thing, be prepared.
Everybody gotta wanna stop, not just one person. One person can change things, but everybody in the general gotta be able to stop it. It's not just, I can say, all right, I'm gonna stop. What about the 15 other people down the block that we feuding with? They ain't gonna stop. It has to be everybody, not just one person. Right about now, it don't seem like there's a way. Because if there was a way, it would have been solved by now.
Like, we're locked in, but shut out of society.
You got a zip code, you got an address, and you got a skin color. And that puts you what you're supposed to be doing at the age of 17. If at the age of 17 you're gangbanging if you live on Interville Street. You gotta be. You're not a good kid.
They keep saying you're a drug dealer, gangbanger, whatever. You keep getting harassed with all that, you know what I'm saying? They putting that in your head, that's what you're gonna be. Because that's what you're considered as anyway by living in this neighborhood. They keep telling you that, pumping your head up, you know what I'm saying?
Because it's two laws. It's your law and it's our law. And our law, to us, is survival. We're doing good. Better than last year. We was counting down how many murders that we had. Come on, man. What kind of thrill was that? It was thrill for the peoples in the suburbs to read like, damn, the niggas are killing themselves. Damn, one by one. That's what they want us to do. Our race is going to be the first race to get wiped out in the world because we already started. We got more guys out here dying than a little. And the white race, before you know it, man, it's not going to be a really black race. It's going to be just the ones who survived and the ones that are in jail going to be here. All the rest will be dead. Everything, the graveyards will fill up. They fill up the graveyards from here. The graveyards can't take no more.
These friends blame each other for failing to prevent Rico's death. If they can't express their grief, it may come out as anger and lead to more killings. The street workers take them to Rico's grave, hoping that the visit will help them come to terms with his loss.
Right here. What you said?
Yeah, man.
So what we need to do, so we need to get some money, all that money y'all clocking, put the money together and get a plat. You can get one of these, go get a bronze one and put a bronze one down. You know, put it in your own, put it down yourself, or he'll be waiting years before you get one.
Ask for it. See, we should have got some flowers, man. I got some dollars, man. I got some dollars too, yeah. I got a few dollars, man. We could get some flowers, man, and just, man, put at least one on everybody's, man. You know what I'm saying, man? That's up here, because it's mad people from the point, man.
Okay,
we could say a prayer, man, just to let niggas know, man. We feeling, man.
Yeah, we can do that.
You know what I'm saying?
You want to do that now?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Let's shake hands. Let's hold hands. Okay? Push chops. Chops. Yeah. You know. And anybody want to say the prayer? But you are doing really well. I knew his father. I grew up with his father. Jimmy was his father. I grew up with him. His father was something else too. But I never got a chance to know him like you out there. So somebody say a prayer for him.
Saying that is my peeps, you know what I'm saying? I love my peeps to death, you know what I mean? Even though he lived this life that everybody else trying to live, you know what I'm saying? He was real. He made his shit, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I gotta give much respect to my peeps. I love them dearly, you know what I'm saying? It's sad to see him go.
Freak, man, you know what I'm saying? Time a nigga blaze up a blizz, your name came up, dog. Cause we got mad love for you. Hope you watching us, man. Looking over us, man, you know what I'm saying? Making sure, man, that we stay together, man, cause we all we got. You know what I'm saying? It's just one love, man, one thug, dog.
Yo, Rick, man,
see you, man.
Man. Y'all know you see us, man. You probably mad cause, man, we arguing amongst each other and shit, but
Amen.
Man,
we hear that, baby.
Man, we gonna get it together.
We have a generation of young black people who are drowning in their own blood. The only way that the black community can begin to address this notion of grieving the loss of a generation is to recover a sacred understanding of human life, which is lost. Because at the base, philosophically, of this blatant disregard for life, which results in black youth killing black youth, is the disintegration of an understanding of the sacredness of human life. Human life is no longer sacred, but it's even deeper than that, because it's not even human life. It is black life is no longer sacred. See, black youth won't kill white people, as a rule, because white life is sacred. Our self-hatred is so profound in terms of what we've internalized that we no longer believe that black life is sacred, unlike other forms of life. It's heavy. Oh, it's deep. Our view is that we've now got to get kids at 5, 6, 7, and 8 when the less damage has been done, for the most part.
Excuse me! There's a path over here. There's a path.
Poor people must fight to save themselves. Now, they must do that in partnership with other sectors of society. But at the end of the day, the reduction of crime and violence in the black community will be done by the black community. It will not be done. It cannot be done by the police or the probation department.
Boston's successful efforts to stop juvenile killing have brought the city a measure of peace. But the expected rise in the teenage population over the next 10 years poses a challenge. How can the city improve the lives of the youth growing up most at risk? For the actions of the next wave of teenagers are already being shaped by the way these children are treated today.
What's the matter? What happened? What's the matter? So you don't. So you tell. Wait a minute. Wait. So you don't fight your cousin. You tell his. You tell his mother. You tell his mother. But no, don't stab him. Come here. You tell his mother. You tell his mother, and then she'll buy you another coat. You don't stab your cousin. No. Come on, Brendan. Brendan, you don't stab. No, come on. No, Brendan, don't.
Get off.
I'm not gonna let you fight your cousin.
Get off.
Let him go. Let him go. Just let him go. Brendan, y'all go get in the van. Excuse me, I said stop playing, get in the van, gentlemen and ladies, please. Now, come here, let me see something. We're not gonna fight each other. It's just a coat. You don't wanna take nobody's life over a coat, man. And I know your mother's gonna be mad at you, but I'll talk to your mother, all right? Huh? Okay, come on, man. Come on, yeah, come on, man, let's do something with this nose. Brendan, come on, man. You look like Muhammad Ali. Anybody ever tell you that, man? You're a good-looking brother. Don't. I know you're mad too. That's why you're crying, because you're gonna be crying. Come on, man. You okay? Come on. You're gonna be all right.